Welcome to the Accu-rate Fire Sprinkler Estimating Systems. Today we will talk about the favorite 104 program for service and retrofit work. We will show you how to earn more and work less. This is your summary page. Here you will find your total combined cost for labor material for all your estimates carried forward. Down below the yellow line, you have other choices to make, as engineering permits and profit. Here's your checklist. These are items that you all are familiar with. There's no sense me reading them off, but as the estimator checks them out, that's an indication that he has reviewed the checklist and has given each item some consideration. Below we have ratios. We will get into ratios a little later. Here is page 2, a work page called mains and risers, and all the materials that are associated with the riser. You see steel pipe, schedule 10, schedule 40, 8-inch to 2.5-inch that we download from our supplier manually. These are your labor values that are applied, and of course you can always change them. It's up to you. So you have 8 columns. Column A is where you install your quantity from your takeoff. Column B is the product number. Column C is the product description. Column D is the product unit price. Column E is your labor unit value. Column F is open for miscellaneous uses. Occasionally you will find a need for it. Column G is an extension of the labor, and column H, extension of the material prices. We have a validation system, and you look for the little icon on the right side of the product description. From there you can change it to any of the 2,400 line items that Viking offers in our net pricing program. This feature will save you hours on the phone getting net pricing on various items. Down below there's 3% miscellaneous. You can change that to anything you wish just by simply putting a number in there. Here you have a labor correction factor. If you have a job where security is tight, getting materials back and forth or to the site, requiring additional labor to facilitate. You can put 14% in there for 1 hour lost out of every 8, 28% for 2 hours lost out of every 8, or 7% for a half hour lost every 8. It's a choice that you have with this program. 5% material inflation factor. This is not profit. This is strictly inflation protection. You'll bid this job in July. You may not get it until January. You may not be able to buy anything until March or April. There's bound to be some inflation. You must know the market and give it some consideration. Again, this is not profit. $69.40 is the St. Louis Union sprinkler fitter with his union and social benefits. Ditto for the journeyman and ditto for the apprentice. You have a ratio, 60% fitter foreman and 40% journeyman. You can change these ratios between the foreman, the fitter, and the apprentice as required by the job. $37.88 for overhead. Yes, Charlie, you do have an overhead. I don't know how big or small your business is. You do have an overhead. Let me show you how we calculate that. Below the estimate, you will find 3 cells dedicated to calculating your overhead. The cost of doing business. Overhead includes your earnings when you're not working in the field, clerks, professional services, insurance, rent, trucks, tools, and all those items that are not included in your job estimate. And let's assume that your overhead is $250,000 and that you have 6,000 man hours in the field for the life of that overhead. The unit cost, therefore, is $37.88. That is a low number. In our area, we often see $40 to $80 an hour. Let's assume that the overhead went up $50,000. and we're only doing 6,000 man-hours in the field, our overhead went up to $45.45 per man-hour in the field. Calculate your overhead budget divided by the number of man-hours that you intend to spend in the field during the life of that budget. To know your hourly overhead costs and to apply it to the workmen in the field is another Accu-rate feature to earn you more money. You also have a choice of profit. If you don't make a profit, you will soon be out of business. Be careful. This business is dangerous. You can find yourself in terrible financial conditions. You can ruin your credit as well and your life savings. The Accu-rate system will take you through the maze of estimating to avoid these problems. Page 3, we have small piping, which you can use the same as the other pages. All the pages are constructed the same. Here it just happens to be small piping. This page is excellent for estimating the cost to replace branch piping. Page 4 contains wet sprinklers. These are arranged as uprights, pendants, sidewalls. Dry sprinklers included are a bunch of choices that are made, some automatically. Let's assume that we're going to retrofit 25 sprinklers. We put our 25 in place. You will see other choices made automatically. In column A, below line 25, you will find automatic selections for piping for light hazard, ordinary hazard, group 1, group 2, arm overs, and escutcheons. For retrofit work, it's unlikely we'll have some seismic bracing, but if you do, you can put a percentage in there or a number, your choice. On this page are a few choices that you can make. We always add something in there for job setup and testing. Job setup is the cost to get your tools on and off the job. Orientation, show the foreman what work is going to be done. All those things are costs to be considered. Dry system. Let's assume we got a 10,000 square foot area. We have calculated from our estimate that there's 109 sprinklers. We have calculated that we can install a 4-inch dry valve. This is an assembly where selections have been made for the dry valve trim, air gauges, air maintenance device, quick release, air compressor piping, and other devices required of the dry system. All those are made for you. In cell A58, install 10,000 square feet. Below that, you will see a number of ratios. You must install your ratios. Doing so will save you a lot of grief. These ratios are set up with the conditional formatting feature of the Excel system. Ratios are the relationship between one job element and another, as the number of square feet per sprinkler, the number of man-hours per sprinkler, the cost per square foot, and other elements of the job that are related to each other. Why are they there? Let us assume that you overlooked 15% of your labor. When that happens, we will see some red flags show up. Let's assume that it's not 10,000 square feet, but 20,000. Again, you will see a flag show up relative to the number of square feet per sprinkler. With proper ratios set up, you will avoid these horrible mistakes. We move on to fabrication. This is the labor that's going to be charged for fabricating. You already have the material included in your estimates, but you want to have some idea of what the fabrication cost is going to be. You have it there. How many threads you're going to be cut, what size pipe, how many grooves, how many fittings you're going to apply, how many various devices are going to be handled. On this page, we have miscellaneous things like alarm valves and trims and some more valves. On the next page, we have some specialties, flow switches, etc. And these will be useful for if you care to replicate, apply a different page to this page. With these two pages, you can easily price out individual items. These are benefits offered by the Accu-rate fire sprinkler estimating system. Here we find some CPVC pipe, 2-inch and under. Here we find arm overs. This is strictly material prices. Main drain assemblies, inspector test assemblies, and these are all included in the other pages where applicable. On this page we find our Viking net pricing. You can download your net pricing 24/7. It's a nice system. You simply copy it and paste it on this page. When you do that, I recommend that you date the page. This is July 21st, 2013. Viking does not date the pages, they just change the prices. This is a 6-inch flow switch, and you can go over and you can find your net pricing, the price that you expect to pay for that product when you buy it. Is it the cheapest price out there? Often it is. Once you get the job, you can do your shopping. Here's your labor. Your labor is protected. That is related to the product number and the product description. Again, here's our 6-inch flow switch and the 6-inch product number. There's the labor that's assigned to it. If you wish to change it, you change it on the labor log chain. I will show you how that works. And the reason why this is arranged this way is you download your net pricing, which you'll do at least once a month. Product number or the product description may change. However, all the labor that's assigned to it will remain and is protected in that fashion. Here is your labor log. Let's say we want to change the 6-inch flow switch to 12 hours. Easily done. This is where you make the changes in your labor. You put a number in there. Here we are. We put 12 hours. When you go back and find the 6-inch flow switch, you'll find the 12 hours automatically transferred. This is a feature of the Accu-rate fire sprinkler estimating system. We go back to the labor log and you see some description of the work that's included. For instance, when installing a flow switch, it'll include the labor for drilling the pipe, setting, and testing. There are several labor descriptions. For instance, when you see cells with no labor attached to it, it means we have little or no experience enough to attach labor to it. When you see zeros on the labor log, it means those items are associated with a fitting or a valve or other devices, and there's no labor assigned to it because it's included with your item that it's associated with. What you see applied here is also applied in the System 103 for residential installations, and for System 105 for large jobs estimating. These systems are set up with Microsoft Excel or Apple's number format. Those are simple lookup programs and validation programs. There are no hidden formulas in this system. You can make changes as you need it. The system does need maintenance.